What is up, my kings and queens and all in between? It is Andrew Velázquez with another episode of Mindful Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for returning, coming back, giving us those thumbs up, those reviews. That song you just heard is called Mi Corazón. You can download Mi Corazón wherever you stream your favorite music, written by myself, produced by Aaron McClendon. And for today, your one-stop shop place for creativity, spirituality, the entrepreneurship, while balancing all and juggling it all. I have an amazing, beautiful guest, you guys. You can see that gorgeousness already in front of me if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're only listening, head over to YouTube and check him out because you have to look at this face. But before I give them their official bio introduction, I wanted to ask you a favor. Share this with somebody that you love. That way it's most likely to come out in their algorithms and it's just going to have more exposure. So, do a brother a solid, share this light, and we're trying to create this crown community. I'm seeing it, you guys, this revolution of artist evolution. It's happening. It's here. We need to share this positivity, right, Gregory?
Yes,
Yes.
everything you said and more. I'm not sure
So
which side he's going to be on when I
here we have
him.
the infamous, the ageless, the stunning, the most talented. It's been such a long time coming, you guys. This has been a hero of mine for my whole career, to be honest with you. We have Gregory Arlt in the house, everybody. Welcome, welcome, Gregory. How are you?
Oh my God, I'm better now after all that. Thank
I'm so
you.
grateful for you to be taking the time and
Mm.
spend some, love and light, share it with our community, and just try to inspire everybody. But may I give you a proper introduction and bio? Is that okay?
Immediately, if not sooner, but thank
Okay,
you.
okay. Let's do it. Let's do it. You guys, Emmy Award nominee Gregory Arlt is a makeup artist based out of Los Angeles, California. Born and raised in Los Angeles, he has been doing makeup professionally for over 30 years. He started with a major art in art history and theater, and then began his makeup career at the prestigious Los Angeles boutique Fred Segal in 1989. Gregory began working for MAC Cosmetics in 1993, beginning as a traveling makeup artist for the brand and evolving into a trainer, a senior makeup artist, and until 2022, held the position of the Director of Makeup Artistry, acting as a brand spokesperson and celebrity makeup artist. In 2015, he won the prestigious Hollywood Beauty Award for Best Makeup Artist, as well as he won the Ibiza Music Award for Best Makeup in a Music Video for Gwen Stefani's Misery. Gregory is represented by Ford Artist Agency and is also a member of the local 706 Makeup Union. Arlt works with some of the most famous faces in the world, including Dita Von Teese, Gwen Stefani, Jennifer Coolidge, Victoria Beckham, Katy Perry, Cher, Sienna Miller, Minnie Driver, Fran Drescher, Kim Cattrall, Liza Minnelli, Alicia Keys, Michelle Trachtenberg, Denai Guraya, and Mary J. Blige. Sorry if I butchered any of those names. Being one of the most in-demand artists in Hollywood, he appears regularly as a beauty expert on TV shows such as Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, Extra, CNN, E! Entertainment Television, and The Style Network. Gregory can be found backstage at the fashion collections in Milan, Paris, and New York, designing makeup looks for Oscar de la Renta, Alexander McQueen, Ungaro, Michael Kors, and Chloe, to name a few. Arlt brings his wealth of knowledge and talent all over the globe, doing press, makeup, masterclasses, editorial photo shoots, and television appearances in countries such as England, France, Italy, Australia, New Zealand, Israel, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Canada, Japan, China, Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. I'm quoting the man himself. I consider myself a beauty exorcist. Instead of piling on makeup on the face, I bring out a woman's beauty, respecting her features, her bone structure, her coloring, and most importantly, her personality. Welcome, welcome, Gregory Arlt.
Thank you.
Wow.
I
I had to
realize I need to shorten my bio. Do you need a
no,
simpler?
I know, right? No, it's well earned. It's like
You.
it's just a legacy. How does that feel to hear a
It's
little
always
bit of
so,
what you've done?
oh my gosh, it's always so weird to actually hear it back. I'm like, whose life is that? I feel very, very grateful and appreciative.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a good ride and it's still riding.
It's inspiring.
Thank
It's
you.
totally motivating. It's
Thank you.
I told you earlier, right before we were getting on the call, you were such a big asset to my career and a hero, little baby Andrew looking up at Gregory Arlt as God, basically, like a make just wanting to shadow you, wanting to be a mentoree and just, follow your footsteps. And I want to thank you from the bottom of mi corazón for always being so kind, so generous, and you always had a smile on your face, always laughing, just good energy overall. And I just felt welcomed and accepted and truly inspired by your ethics, your makeup artistry skills, but your being really, who you are and who you are as a person. So thank you for doing that for me.
Okay, first of all, I hope I'm wearing waterproof mascara because you're going to make a grown man cry. For real. Thank you.
The splash proof.
I can't, right, exactly. Now I'm wearing Thrive today, which is a tubular
Ooh, I
formula, so it
do like
actually
Thrive. Yes.
good. I
We'll talk
love
about
it.
the beauty. We'll talk about the beauty
We'll
too.
talk about the beauty, but thank you so much for saying that. I mean, honestly, I namaste, as they say, my soul honors yours. And it's so interesting because again, there's so much I could actually respond and reply to that. My first instinct is to say thank you and gratitude. But I also have to say that you want to talk about ageless. I mean, you're talking about little baby Andrew. You are still like 20 years old. You look it
I appreciate
like,
that.
I mean, but you've got this incredible, amazing career of your own. And, it's amazing because when I meet people, not to jump ahead or jump around, but it kind of reminds me that, especially where we met at Mac, when you're meeting people who are so excited to get that job in the first place, and also just you were always so incredibly open and absorbent, like the best sponge in the world, because you always wanted to learn and you're always learning.
Yeah.
And
You
you've
guys taught me that. You guys all taught me that. I
no,
mean,
you
just
you came
so
that
many
way. You
legends.
came with it. You came with it.
I appreciate it. Thank
Not
you.
learn
Well,
to be here. It
you
was
said it a little while ago. I think it's a reflection. It's a mirrored kind of energetic exchange. I think light recognizes light, kindness recognizes kindness, and
law of attraction.
I love that, and that's what this is about. So I'm so excited that you're here and to have this
Thank you.
conversation with you. But
Me.
can we rewind a little bit and go back in the past?
Let's go back into.
I really feel as I'm talking so many different, you know, types of artists that have different backgrounds, there's a common factor that we all share, and that's for humanity in general, but ages 1 through 10 shapes a lot of your essence
Mhm.
and maybe what your aesthetic is and what you're attracted to, because you're a sponge at that point. You haven't really discovered your individuality. So can we talk about baby Gregory? Like what were you always creative? Were you spiritual in any way? Like how was it growing up?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Yes to all of the above. So I'm gonna try to, I'll rapid fire this like we're speed dating, but seriously, born and raised here in Los Angeles, California. I was actually born in Inglewood, and I
Inglewood.
up to no good. And I grew up I grew up in Westchester, Plano Ray area, and I grew up the youngest of two older sisters, a mother, and a father who was an artist. So I grew up around a lot of feminine energy, a lot of creativity. And my dad was a graphic designer and a fine artist, and my mother was very musically inclined. So we just always grew up with a lot of creativity around. And, to your point, that's between ages 1 and 10. My
Yeah.
sisters and I, one of them is 7 years older than me, and the other one is
Okay.
18 months older than me. So
Nice.
I got to look up to a really, really big sister who was already putting on like, lip gloss and everything when she was 15 and I was like 7 or 8. And my other
Yeah.
sister, we always played Barbies. I also played Star Wars toys.
Yeah. You mixed it up a little bit. Yeah.
You do. And I just, I grew up thankfully before the internet. I mean, I grew up watching a lot of TV. I was always begged to stay up and watch the Sonny and Cher show and
Yes.
Carol Burnett and all the glamour and
Mm-hmm.
like,
The
and my
OG drag
parents,
queens.
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. And that's that kind of awareness. And my father, being a graphic designer, always brought home tons of paper and pens. And we went to the restaurants we went to growing up had paper placemats. So
Yeah.
like, my parents would always bring pens and we'd turn the placemats over and just draw
Doodle away.
So I always grew up being very creative.
What a blessing to have such incredibly supportive parents that encourage your expression of artistry and just said, here, color away, color with your life, use all the crayons in the book.
To all of it. Totally.
That's
Exactly.
so cute.
And I always joke, I'm like, well, y'all, it's your fault because they put me in dance class, they put me in drama class, they put me in art class. I mean,
I love it.
my mom was more into sports than my father was, and they tried to get me
Oh.
soccer, and I got in trouble for dancing on the field. So there you go.
That's hilarious. Yeah, sports was something that was around. My brothers loved playing ball. Um, Baseball I was not a fan of because it took so long. It was such like a long sport. It's
And it
kind of
was
boring too.
scary.
A little
Balls
bit
towards
too.
your face.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I
exactly.
wasn't. I was not into it. Nope.
Yeah.
Maybe some nice, gentle Barbies.
I love that you had your older sisters too. I always wanted an older sister, so I just would fantasize about one of my older cousins to be my older sisters. And we
Mm.
we were kind of raised like siblings as well, but that's so cool that you had that kind of mentorship. Did
Yeah.
you consider them your first like muses and your heroines? Did you play dress up with them as well?
We played dress up all the time. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. And
Yes.
my parents again really encouraged creativity. So instead of getting like the Barbie dream house, my sister and I would clear off the dresser top and
Work,
Barbie house, and dress
fashion,
up and yeah, all of that.
runway at such a young age. I love that.
Runway house, like we used to take a Kleenex box and that was the bed, like we would
Yes.
have so much fun playing. My sister and I were actually on the phone a couple days ago, and she's like, "Don't you miss just like playing?" Like, I'm like, "Yes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do."
Yeah, and that's another point is to kind of protect that innocence, right? And I know we're in weird times in our country at the moment, and I really want this to just kind of be a positive message of your innocence and just going back and pretending you are a kid sometimes. That's why I live next to Disney World because I want to protect the little innocence of 10-year-old Andrew. And so I think it's important to remember that when you have those dark moments, give that little buddy a hug and bring that excitement back into areas that you're kind of like lacking. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
love that. Well,
thank you for
it's
sharing
always
that.
important to, yeah, I 100% subscribe to that. I think it's so important to always find your joy and to always harken back to what makes you the happiest, even in the most difficult of times.
Yes. Well said, my friend. I love
Yes.
that. So how about spirituality, whatever that means to you? Were you spiritual at a young age? Do you find any spirituality now as an adult? Like whatever that means to you.
100%. I mean, it's funny because we grew up not extremely really, we grew up Christian, and went to Sunday school. And I think it was more for
Mhm.
the ritual of it as opposed to instilling like crazy values into our heads. And we kind of, my sister and I were kind of like, we don't feel like getting dressed up and waking up early on Sunday morning anymore. But I always
Right.
felt
Can we
connected,
go to drag brunch instead?
exactly at like, 8 years old, eight.
Right.
No, but I always did feel a connection to a higher power and
Yeah.
the universe and source, and
Yeah.
so I very much still have that within, and I think it's really important to for me it just feels very comforting and it feels very guiding and it feels very collaborative as opposed to
Mm.
it was never like a dictatorship. It always felt like we're one with this whole universe. So that's
Yeah.
where I am today. Very much into the law
Yeah.
of attraction.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel as artists, it is important to have a connection to your spirituality. I
Mhm.
feel they work hand in hand. It's a form of your soul. You know what I mean? You're kind of exchanging, like I said, energy. So it's good to have that some kind of spirituality, whatever that means for the individual. There's no wrong or right way of how to do it, as long as you're not judging anybody through that process. So thank you
Exactly.
for sharing that.
Of
All
course.
right, you have this awesome segment called "How are you gonna love somebody else if you can't love yourself first?" Gregory Arlt. What is your? I need to know these secrets because you're still looking like my age, and I want to know what is your self care beauty regimen? Do you take time for yourself selfishly before you service others? And then any pro tips and tricks that you would like to share?
First of all, the most important thing, especially, is the touch up your appearance button on Zoom. That's
Yeah,
the one.
totally. I forgot about that. Thank you for
Now you're
sharing.
really showing off, because if you're not even using it, then you are literally fountain of youth. I think
I
you're
mean,
literally
I
the
got the
fountain of
glam
youth.
core light. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's working. No, I think it's as Mama Ru said, if you can't love yourself, how can you love anyone else? And it's not wrong at all. I think for me, it's how I do it is like, and especially for the past, I guess for the past 6 years, diligently, I talk to the universe before I talk to anyone else. So when I wake up, I'm not picking up my phone. It was such a habit. I got so sucked into that years ago. Like, did I get an email? Is there work coming in today? Or what's happening on
Yeah.
Instagram? Whatever. And I'm
Hmm.
like, let's stay high in the morning when we wake up. So
Yeah.
I think it's for me, that's number one, is to go within while I go without, and just to really truly focus in on that. And I think, like, just physically, yes, I am a vain gay man. So there is skincare involved in my life, and there always has
Just a
been.
tad, just a splash,
Just a little, just a
like
little.
powder like this.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly. Burt's Bees and a hug. That's all I do.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I self-care is very important to me. And of course, during when the pandemic first hit, which is crazy that it's 4 years ago now, not to date this podcast, but I remember when we literally had nowhere to go but home. Yes, I added steps to my skincare
Yeah,
as opposed
absolutely.
to, so I think that's so important for, whatever
Yes.
that looks like, and try to take care of ourselves within as well, not only just for me spiritually, but also try to do my best to eat well and exercise. And I love
Mhm.
connecting to the outdoors. So that's where I find my bliss, is doing a lot of things outdoors.
Well said. Yeah, mind, body, soul. You guys hear me repeatedly saying all the time. It's good to ground yourself, step outside, breathe in Mother Nature, get in that vitamin D. And yeah, I
Yes.
love that you're doing that before you introduce, tech and the phones and all the things that is kind of noise traffic sometimes. So I think it's good to clear your head, breathe in some oxygen intake, and whatever that means to you, if you want to go for a
You know,
walk or meditate, all that kind of stuff.
Totally. And for me, especially in the morning, I really do, before I do anything, when I open my eyes, I really sit in gratitude, and I sit in appreciation, and I go over in my head all of the things that I'm grateful for and that I appreciate. And I think that's the most, it gets me revved up, and I kind of go over my intentions for the day, start with a very
Mhm.
general intention, and then I get specific depending on what my day looks like.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's really helped.
Sharing that. You're hitting it from the pro, you guys. Make sure you're taking notes.
Doing my
All right.
best.
Love that. What about product wise? I know you introduced new products you said during, because we're beauty people. Come on, like we want to hear the secrets. So, what are your
Yes.
top three skincare must-have items?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, generally speaking, for me, it's all about a good cleanser. I need a good serum. I love oils for my,
Mm.
and a good moisturizer, and of course sunscreen. So, of course, there's so many different layers, um and I'm so grateful that many brands are generous and send me incredible things to try out on myself or my clients. And it's so funny because I kind of like, there's, as you know, skincare is probably one of the top growing brands or categories out there right now. Skincare, fragrance, all that kind of stuff.
Right? Yeah.
And there's a lot out there, of course, a lot of choices, and you can't really figure out what's going to work for you if you're not using it for like 30 days or more, because that's when our
Hmm.
skin needs to acclimate.
Hmm.
Two that come to mind, like two specific brands, and this is literally like,
Drum roll, you guys.
I know, drum roll, no nepotism, and not because I know these people, but literally because they're amazing products. One is a brand called Neon Hippie that I am loving
That
so much.
packaging is to die for.
The
So
packaging
cute.
makes me happy to see the happy
Yes.
faces,
And the
smiling
names.
happy.
I'm a sucker for the names too.
Yes,
Two
yes,
words, easy. Love it.
right. Yes,
Oh, okay.
exactly. With some balloon. Oh, we
Yeah.
got. Oh, you got the reaction.
The iOS update. Yeah.
I know, isn't that funny? I don't know if it's
I forget
clearly
about it sometimes. Yeah. It's like just
um
pops up.
right, but it uses a lot of because we're hearing so much about the healing power of mushrooms and taking them internally, like lion's mane and reishi, all these different mushrooms, and they're all found in this product. So it's based on like a shroom complex, which I really love.
Hmm,
And so I've been using that a lot. And then I
nice.
also have been using an incredible brand called Iero Beauty, which
That
is
I have not heard of. How do you spell that?
it's Iero. And it's totally speaks to me because it not only uses incredible, pristine, clean ingredients, but they're really into like you add amethyst crystals to the toning spray and you swirl it clockwise
Oh, I
and
love that.
and it was actually developed by a very, very dear friend of mine who you may know the name, Nick Gavrelis, who actually he was one of the heads of product development for Mac for many, many years.
Sounds familiar.
And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he's first of all one of the most incredible humans that he's a superhuman actually,
Yeah.
uh, that I've ever hoped to meet. But the
Shout out
product,
to Nick.
shout out to Nick.
Hmm.
The products are beautiful. So it's like there's like a toning spray, there's a beautiful oil, there's a hydrating moisturizer. I try to keep it simple. Like I'm not trying to take 2 hours to wash my face and go to bed at night. I'm trying to keep it simple but effective.
Yeah.
So
Streamline it.
those are my two, they streamline. Those are my two sort of absolutely go-tos
Cool.
in skincare
You
products.
guys heard it here first. So, a couple things that I took away from that. Cleansing to balance the pH of the skin, and the conditionings, serumizers to hydrate and maybe help the overproduction of sebum and excessive oils, and then SPF. So you're getting your cleansing, your balancing of the pH, and your protection from natural elements. I think that is the best regimen for anti-aging. So thank you for sharing that. And we got Neon Hippie and Iero.
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 Okay,
And
very
then
cool.
sunscreen, there's I believe it's a South Korean brand called De Alba. And
Okay,
it's my favorite sunscreen. It's like SPF 3 billion. It's so light, it's so sheer, and it doesn't give that violet cast to the skin. So
I love that.
that's my go-to.
So dope. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, my
Um,
audience would be upset if I didn't ask for from the beauty pro himself what the beauty tips are. So thank you so much, Gregory Arlt. All right, you guys. So we have another segment called Love is Art, Art is Love. You already know. I love to ask these questions to just see how you balance your life and your amazing career portfolio. So, Gregory Arlt, what practices or routines do you have in place to nurture your creativity and spirituality while running your business?
for me, a couple of things. Everything needs to be organized. So my kit, that I mean, if it's almost like that adage, cluttered home, cluttered mind. So for me, it's cluttered makeup kit, cluttered makeup career. So
Mm,
I really like to
yeah,
make
well
sure that
said. Hmm.
I like to make sure I have everything at the ready. Like if my agent's like, I have a job for you now, boom, it's ready to go. So that gives me some peace of mind. The next thing is not taking anything personally ever. I think that was one of the biggest things for me to learn as a human, as an artist,
Yeah,
that of course, we always want to take responsibility where we could be better, but I feel that in order for me to keep my business, as strong as possible, when I go into a job, I just go in and try to feel as confident as possible and to know that I was hired for a reason and to do my best as much as I can and not strive for perfection because I think I don't believe in perfection, which was also a hard thing for me to come to because there's no such thing.
right.
It's just about doing your best and putting as much good intention behind what you're doing as possible.
Period. Love that. Okay.
Try.
I'm hearing preparation,
Yeah.
checklist. I'm hearing Mother Nature, I'm a vessel today. I'm not going to take anything personal. I'm coming in and you tell me what to do. And
That's
you're
right.
vibing off everybody and then you're kind of like pivoting if you have to because and this is
Sure.
what I'm so grateful that you guys all taught me and kind of embedded into my brain. You, John Stapleton, uh, Tiffany Johnston, rest in peace. Like all you beautiful lights were always like, you got to style stuff, Andrew. You got to come into that environment and you're going to adapt to being in store, when you're on stage, when you're backstage. Like, so I love that you're practicing that and
House.
wherever you're going. Yeah, period. Wherever
Yeah.
you're going. So it's a little bit of like therapy work for yourself too. So
You
awesome.
know, thank you. And I have to say that was one of the number one best trainings that Mac ever did was style stepping. And I think just for anyone watching, basically adapting your style to whomever you're with. And really that has paid off for me in ways that you have no idea over the years outside of Mac, when
Yeah.
I've done freelance or working on a job or just kind of reading the room, which I think is a really important thing to be able to be aware of.
Yeah.
As
And most importantly, what you already said is to not take things personally. We're
correct.
all in this together. We're all trying to figure it out together. So why not just get along together so we can make it
Well,
happen?
that's the thing, exactly. And I think that we get so caught up, like, oh, this lipstick, I have to use this lipstick on this person. If they're like, I don't really like the color. What they're not saying to you, wow, what a horrible choice you just made for me. They're saying, I don't like the color.
Right. And
So,
it's an
okay,
opinion. It's an
it's
opinion too.
opinion. Let's
Yeah.
pivot. It had nothing
Yeah.
to do with me.
Totally. Love that. Thank you for
Yeah,
that. I knew you'd have some
welcome.
great insight for
I'm
that.
trying.
All right, Gregory Arlt, can we share any tips or advice for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to incorporate more creativity and maybe spirituality into their work?
Well, I think it kind of goes back to, just well, I don't know if this is exactly the right answer for this, but I think for me,
There's
it's
no
also,
wrong or right answer. Sorry.
oh, even better. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, I think to answer that question, it's kind of like, I think oftentimes art, especially up and coming artists, as you're talking about, or aspiring artists, start to get really paralyzed by all the noise out there and comparing themselves to others and looking at Instagram and why is that person working more than me? Or why doesn't my makeup look like that? Just cut it all out. Focus on you. There's no other you. That's the only person in the world. It's like, so it just kind of like, it's almost like writing down, like write down a mission statement for yourself if you can, and live by that. Like, who are
Mhm.
you? What's your
I
passion?
love
What's your
that.
purpose? And let's go from there.
Yeah, and that's also to fruition and experiencing your sensory system. So you're physically writing it down, maybe
Mm,
verbally saying it out loud, physically saying it. So inevitably you're going to become that mission statement. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
you're
So
welcome.
dope.
I do
You're
my
the
best.
coolest. This is why you're always my hero.
I
Um,
try. Less.
all right, last question for Love is Art, Art is Love. How do you measure success now, Gregory? You're so accomplished. Your portfolio is spectacular. You are Emmy nominated, and how do you measure success in both your creative, entrepreneurial pursuits, and what does success mean for you now?
Honestly, after every single thing, to me, I've really meditated on this question in just in general, and I think it's just, to me, success is showing up.
Mm,
Period.
yeah,
And I think some people measure success like, yes, of course, it's thrilling to see your work in a magazine or on a billboard or on television or read your credits or get accolades or recognition. I mean, that's all, but that's all because of showing up,
yeah,
showing up
yeah.
fully. And that could mean so many different things.
Yeah, showing up for a set job, but also showing up for a friend that you didn't even know needed you,
And showing up for
And
yourself, just showing up fully. Like,
yes,
I'm here.
yes,
I am not, there's no noise behind me right now because I am here in this room to do this job.
yeah,
Whatever happened between, if there was an argument or if there was some sad news or whatever, it's just has to be compartmentalized until you can get through what you're doing. And I think that's, to me, the most important. That's how I measure success. How have I
yeah,
showed up fully today?
yeah. I love that. Yeah. Okay, that was really well said.
Thank you.
Success for Gregory Arlt is to show the F up and just be there.
Show up
Period.
fully, mentally, spiritually, artistically, all of it. Just show
Yeah,
up fully.
check off that list. Beautifully said, friend. All right, you guys. So for season two, we're going on long and strong. This is one of my favorite segments, you guys.
The library is open! Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
There you have it, darling.
It is called The Library is Open. This is not to share shade. This is to only share light. Spotlight our guests. And Gregory Arlt, can you tell us what is your favorite book that you're currently reading, or maybe your favorite book from the past? And what are your top 3 reasons why?
Oh my goodness gracious. That's like picking a favorite child. Well, first of all,
I know.
actually, I just finished reading RuPaul's latest book, which
Okay, okay. What's the reviews? What's the feedback?
the reviews.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because he came out with this book, Letting It All Hang Out, in like the early 90s, like when I first started Mac, actually, and I was lucky enough to go have it signed by him at book
Amazing.
here in Los Angeles, and he was all in full drag, and it was great. And this new book, House of Hidden Secrets or Hidden Meanings, I can't remember the name of it. Sorry, Rue, but I enjoyed it. It kind of reminds me of like a much more fleshed out version of that first book. And it's just interesting. I'm always I love autobiographies. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
uh, I'm fascinated by them because I like to see like what was their journey, these incredibly successful people, what did they go through? And can I have any takeaways there? So um I think that would be like, I love reading. I mean, that's a very small sampling of my book collection. I have whole bookshelves elsewhere, but I really love autobiographies. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't think of a favorite book. I know so many people who are like, oh, my favorite book that I'd
Right.
take out of a burning building would be blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know if I have that answer.
No, I mean, you said it. RuPaul, The House of Hidden Meanings. It is out available
Yes.
wherever you want to buy a book, Amazon, or listening to it as well. I just think it's important for artists in general to have some kind of literature to feed your brain, whether it's, auditory or visually, whatever reading is for you. Listening to this podcast, also is a way of getting information and literature. So it's
And
just
inspiration.
what I'm saying? It's a great way to just get the inspiration, but feed the brain, and just get the juices flowing. Well, I wanted to share a couple of mine that I have at the moment.
Hmm.
And we kind of talked a little bit about this earlier, and it is an autobiography, by our mutual friend, Iris Navarrete. Love this so much. From Her to Eternity, an inspiring memoir and spiritual solutions for business and life. Literally what Mindful Artist Podcast is about. You know what I mean? Like,
Let me
it's so
tell
good.
you, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Did you read
First and
it?
foremost, did I read it? Oh my God. I read it. I think I read it in a day.
Yeah. It's
I,
such a good
and
read.
it's such an incredible read. And I have to say, it's so one of the most powerful things about it is it's first of all, foremost, I mean, Iris is I call her my soul stir. She's one of my absolute best friends of life. She's another superhuman. I don't think
Yeah,
she's one foot is in the spirit world. It's just
I agree.
literally she makes Yoda look like a kindergartner.
Yeah,
Not really, but just the wisdom and
the essence. Yeah.
the essence. And I'm so blessed to have been able to been with her on the very moment she put the pen to paper. She's like, I'm working on this book.
I didn't know
So,
that.
yes. So to be able to, I remember I would call her to touch base. She's like, Gregory, do you mind if I call you back? I just got to finish up this chapter I'm working on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. And she has done so much for me spiritually, mentally, has given me incredible guidance where, she sits on top of a mountain in robes because she's like this
Yeah.
guru. Her
Yeah.
book right there on my
Nice.
shelf. It's one of the most prominent ones
Nice.
that stands out. And definitely, you know what? I'm going to rescind my answer. That is a book
Uh-oh. Not the
That is a
reject.
no, it's not a no, it's not a reject. Well done. That Iris's book is a book that I would save out of a burning building.
Yes, agree. Yeah.
I
When
couldn't
I
imagine.
heard she was writing this, I'm like, absolutely, it makes sense. Like she is guru. She always had those Irisisms that we called, right? And
Navisms.
yeah, that as well. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just, when you read those inspiring quotes, or I don't know, a magnet on a fridge or something when you're at a coffee shop, that's Iris. But it was
Totally.
constant. It was a sentence just coming out of her mouth. You were like, huh? It just moved you. It just made an impact
Total
in your,
aha
yeah.
moment.
So it made
Oh
so
my
much sense for
gosh.
her to be writing this book, and I'm so happy and proud of her too. Yeah.
So proud of her. That woman, I'm telling you, and everyone
God,
watching, know that name because there's going to be a new Oprah.
period.
She's
I'm here for it. We need it.
incredible. Yes,
And we
absolutely.
need her on here too. Um, Thank you for sharing your favorite book. I love that. Okay, so I mean, I want to talk to you so much. This is an hour show, and we have another really cool segment that I'm so excited to hear your answers, because this is supposed to be like a rapid segment. It is
Ooh,
called
speed round.
Wrapping Up Mindful Artist Rapid Cues for Gregory Arlt. All right, who is your hero and why?
That is a really, really good question. I don't know. I don't, you know what? All right, let me rephrase that. I think my hero is like a collective. My family, they're my
That's
friends,
valid.
people I
Hmm.
work with. It's I don't have one person. I'm so grateful and blessed to have many people that I just who give me full body chills.
The full circle for Gregory Allwards.
The full circle. It's
Mhm.
there's so many. There really are, truly.
It's hero with a full circle, and yeah, I see it. That's
That's
beautiful.
right. The O is the big circle in
Period.
hero.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Well said. I will take that. In the past,
Okay, good.
artists have said a personal hero and then maybe like a career hero, but I love the circle hero. That's really cool. Um, one second. Popular over here. All right.
Yeah.
Wrapping up my four artist rapid cues. Question number 2 for Gregory Arlt. Favorite music album of all time and why?
Oh my gosh. I think my favorite music album of all time would probably be, oh my gosh, again, this is impossible. It's like choosing a favorite child.
Deserted
But
Island, one disc man,
one, oh my,
track 1 through 13, whatever it is, and you would just
okay,
let it play.
I would probably say This Mortal Coil, Filigree and Shadow. That is a record I got in high school. I wasn't even prepared for it. I was really into like dance music and new wave and pop. And when someone gave me this record, I was like, I don't even understand it. And it just took me on a journey that I'm still on. It's a beautiful record.
This Molar Coral,
This
Filigree,
Mortal Coil.
Mortal Coil, sorry.
Yes, I'll
I'm
text it to you.
butchering it. Yeah,
That's
thank you.
okay. This Mortal Coil, which is actually a line from a Shakespeare play.
Okay.
And the album is called Filigree and Shadow. And there's a record label called 4AD that spurned like Dead Can Dance and the Cocteau Twins. And so 4AD got together with a lot of their artists and created this, like they
Oh,
have 3 records that I can think of, but that's the one for me.
okay. Thank you for
It's
sharing
very
that.
obscure for me, but I mean,
I want to hear it now. This is why I like this part, because I knew you were going to pick somebody cool. And I feel music is very spiritual. It connects with us as artists. It makes you feel emotion and it makes you create even more. So very cool. Thank you.
thank you.
Wrapping up Mindful Artist Rapid Cues, final question for Gregory Arlt. What is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is the only failure that is fatal is the failure to try. And it was on a tea bag, literally, like on one of the
Did
like
Iris write that?
yeah, I know, right? By Iris Neverett. She may as well have. I would say I think that's one of my favorite quotes. And then just to give myself some props, a quote that I came up with for myself was confront it or let it go. Stay out of the middle ground.
Ooh, I like
Confront
that.
it or let it go. Do not muddle in you're going to deal with it, and if you're not going to, don't talk about it. Just let it go.
Period. That's so great. I love
That's
that.
my
Such
personal.
cool quotes and music and hero
And
circles.
full circle hero. Many heroes,
Yes.
too many
Love
to.
that. So good. I love this. I love you. And I'm
Oh.
so grateful to have known you, to be in your presence and to have this conversation. Where can we follow you? What is coming up that's new for Gregory Arlt? What do you want to plug? This is your time to shine.
Okay, before I'm gonna shine, I'm gonna throw some big ups to you. I am so proud of you for doing this podcast. I truly, truly am. I literally, the tenacity, the ambition, the motivation to do this is so challenging. I can only imagine trying to get people on at certain times. I'm sure is like herding cats, but I have to
Yeah.
say that it's so inspiring. You've always had such a kind, gentle soul, talented beyond repair, a
Thank
teacher,
you.
a
Thank you.
guide, a friend. I'm just so proud of you. So,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
of course. Now
Yeah.
back to me. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I love
What do
it.
you think of me? No, you're incredible. So thank you.
Thank you, Gregory.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're a part of that. You are a
Oh,
part of that.
thank you. Thank you. Full circle.
Hmm.
Part of my Owen hero, Andrew. So
Hey,
there
there
you
you go.
go. For me, it's interesting. I look at my life as one day at a time, and I truly, and that was another challenging thing for me to get into, because I think that sometimes we have this feeling of like, if we're looking at our calendar book and there's empty days and you're like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough and blah, blah, blah. No, you just never know in this business. Um, I have a couple little projects, a little couple plates that I'm spinning that I can't really talk about, but one of them
Oh,
is in the tech space. So we'll just leave it at that. Just keep your eyes open for that. It will be something
okay.
hopefully so insanely revolutionary that we've never seen before. So
Are we doing some AI makeup, Gregory Arlt? Is that what's
I
happening?
can't confirm or deny, but it's nothing that will have any risk of taking our jobs away.
Okay, good. Because I'm
Oh, no,
fascinated
no.
with it. I
I
I
would not
really
sign off. It's a very ethical project. So keep
okay,
your eyes
cool.
open for that, and doing some collabs with some of my clients that again watch this space for updates. So
All right. So we're just getting like teases. That's all.
teasers, yes. See
I
that little
love
carrot that I'm
it.
dangling?
I love it. Well, we're gonna have to have you back, obviously. Like that's gonna be a thing
Don't
in the
threaten me with
future.
a good time. I'm in. I would
Had
love to.
another returning guest, Olivia, so maybe you'll be the first one to do that. Thank you so much for your kind words and your love and your light and just being you and continuing to inspire us and motivate all of us in our community, our crown community, you guys. Your one-stop shop place right here, Mindful Artist Podcast, for all things mindfulness, creativity, spirituality, while being an entrepreneur. That song you're about to hear is called Mi Corazón. You can download Mi Corazón wherever you stream your favorite music. Written by myself, produced by Aaron McLendon. Make sure you give us those thumbs up, those reviews. Share this with somebody that you love, that you know it'll resonate with. The more
Ah,
likely
you
that
got the
happens,
love.
I got the love. The more likely that will
Lovely.
happen, the more likely others like yourselves, there you go, I see you,
Got it. Got
will
it.
be able to see it as well. Follow us on YouTube at Andrew Velázquez underscore and on Instagram at Mindful Artist Podcast. Thank you so much, Gregory Arlt. Everybody else, much love and light. Make an impact in somebody's life. Take care. Mwah.
Good day.